Welcome, everyone. I'm very excited to be able to share with you this session, which we'll cover in the next 20 to 30 minutes on Slack productivity hacks and best practices. As an introduction, my name is Steph Lau. I am a customer success manager here at Slack, and my role is really making sure that our users at Slack and the organisations that partner with us are able to maximise the adoption and value that our tool provides. So in this session, I have 4 things to make sure you leave with further information on. The first is how best to set up your Slack, knowing how to navigate around the tool, how best to communicate and how to get help. Now, a quick disclaimer, this session is really to get you set up on Slack, get to know the tool. For some of you, you may be quite familiar with using our product, which is fantastic, but there's some really great examples and best practices that I hope you'll also take away from this session. I encourage, if there's any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat window and we can get around to it in the Q&A portion. So let's get stuck into it. For those that are completely new to Slack, and I know I may be talking to an audience where you may be completely new, you've never used our product before, I want to just level set and explain what our product is here to solve. So Slack really helps you work and collaborate really easily with other people online as you would in person. And to bring that to life a bit more, I'm going to walk through a bit of an example. So let's meet Liza. Liza works in the finance team and she's working on a very big budgeting project for this financial year. And this is the team of cross-functional partners that she works with. And Liza decides that, largely they work in email today. And Liza sends off an email with budget details and file attachments to Matt in the team to get his perspective and feedback. Matt then decides, hang on a second, I also need to involve Mark. And so he forwards off the email from Liza to Mark and doesn't CC Liza in. And so straight away there's silos of information being shared around the team that are working on the same thing. Then they decide we're going to do a daily stand-up. And so Rahul sets up a meeting invitation with 3 other members, but Matt's not included in this. So again, that discussion and any outcomes from that session is also siloed away to those people that were part of the session. And then imagine the rest of the team start opening up either a Microsoft document online or a Google Doc to start updating information about the budget, opening up Excel or Google Sheets as well, and then information is being captured in the comment section of those documents. And so all of that disparate information is in different inboxes, different versions of those files, and it's not housed in a central location. But it doesn't have to be like that. Imagine if I came into that project team and as a new starter perhaps or new to the project, I have to then get all of this information from different people's sources, try to pick their brain to understand where things are at. And this is where Slack comes in. So at Slack, we do all of our collaboration and communication in channels where all of the team members are invited into that group channel focused on talking about the budget. And any information that's being shared, any of the meeting notes and files all get placed in this one dedicated place so that any people that have to join the project later on, they will be able to see the full history and archive and they don't have to search anywhere else. So that's a bit of an overview of really what Slack is trying to solve. And this is what Slack looks like. For those that are familiar, you'll notice that we've got the sidebar on the left and I will be going to a demo environment. But as in this example, you'll see that there's a channel here, which is the social media channel. And you'll notice that channels really bring order and clarity to the particular team or the piece of work that you're working on. So in this channel, they're collaborating and talking about the social media campaign. And you'll see people are communicating. We've got an app installed, which brings in calendar reminders for any of the stand-ups so people know that a meeting's happening. You'll see files being shared as well. So this is your one-stop shop to get access to social media content. So what I want to do next is actually talk about how to get Slack set up. So the first thing to know is that Slack, your particular environment that you're looking at is what we call a workspace. And there's two ways that you can get access to Slack. The first is you can simply go to Google and type in Slack desktop application and download either the Mac or Windows app, and then you'll have Slack on your desktop, and you open that up and essentially just sign in. The second way is we want people to easily collaborate how they work and in a flexible manner. So if you are often on the go or traveling, you may want to have Slack on your mobile. And so you can download it on your smartphone, Android, or iOS. And again, you sign in and you get access both on computer and on your mobile. So let's get stuck into showing you how to set up your Slack. The first thing that I'm going to show you is how to update your profile. Then we'll talk about navigation, how to find people and invite people into your workspace, and how to read inside Slack. So let's move over to the demo environment. So this is my Slack demo environment. Up the top, you'll see a number of different icons to navigate. And on the top right corner, you'll be able to see a little profile. If you haven't updated a profile picture in Slack, you'll see a little avatar. And when you click on this, you'll be able to have this drop-down menu. So here I'm logged in as an alias, Jen Hines. Click on this, and then you should see the option to edit or view your profile. I would encourage you to go in and edit your profile and make sure the fields that are available to you are up to date. The fields that you see in this window may not be completely the same to what you have. This has been customized for my organisation, so it'll look different to yours. And a quick tip, I encourage you to put in a profile picture because then people can identify you, particularly as we are working remote largely. So update these details, and it's important you have as much information as possible so that people can find you, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. Something else to note in this drop-down menu is you can update your status as well as set yourself to away and pause notifications if you don't want any push notifications to appear. Just a reminder, this is the desktop application as well. So this is what it will look like when you have Slack downloaded on your computer. So then on the left, you've got the navigation sidebar. I'll go through each of the sections in more detail later on, but the first thing I want to show you is up the top, we have something called our quick navigation menu. These are little action categories that allow you to quickly navigate to certain sections. And I want to bring to your attention a quick tip. I actually encourage you to click on the More icon here, which will bring this drop-down view, and I'll ask you to customize this list of preferences. And the reason for doing this is that Slack becomes a bit more searchable. So I encourage you, if you don't have it already, check my channel browser, people and user groups and apps. And then these three icons will appear in the top left quick navigation bar. So let me go ahead and do that. Channel browser, people and user groups and apps. Now, of course, you may choose to have all of them shown in your quick navigation bar. It's completely up to you. So remember how I said update your profile. So when I click on people and user groups, these are all of the members that have been invited into my Slack workspace. And so you can search up here in the search menu, search for people by name, role, or team. So the more information you have in your profile, the more you can actually put and become more searchable. So if I wanted to search for myself, say Jen, and then it will find me based on name. If I wanted to search for someone who was in marketing or often talks about marketing, I can put in a key search term, and that will show me people with the marketing role as well. And so this is a very helpful view to actually see who's invited into your workspace. Now, if you're completely new to Slack, you may be wanting to invite other people. So I will ask that you click on invite people up the top right and just put in the email address, and off you go, you can send the invite. Something else to know is reading in Slack. So in Slack, anything that is unread, and let me just go back. So up here on the clock icon history, it will show you where you were clicking before. So I'm just going to go back into that particular place I was. In the sidebar here, anything that's bolded means there's an unread message, and anything that has a bold icon with a red badge means that you have been mentioned. Someone's calling out your name, and the number of badges you have and the count in that red badge essentially communicates how many times someone has mentioned you. So generally, reading in Slack is pull the information you need. So if I work often in the PR team and someone's mentioned my name, I would click in there and see any may have missed. And as soon as I click into this particular channel, that notification disappears. So that's it. That's how best to read in Slack, how to find people and how to update your profile. So let's go back into the slides. So very quickly, I'm going to talk about how to communicate in Slack. And there's two main modes of communication. The first is channels. So channels are group-based discussions. It allows you to essentially invite an unlimited number of people, and you can also have an unlimited number of channels. While direct messages are siloed conversations that are mainly used for one-on-one or small groups, up to about 8 or 9 people. Now, the difference between direct messages and channels is that in a direct message conversation, if someone new wants to be added into a direct message, what will happen is Slack will actually create a whole new group altogether. And so there's no historical context that gets shown to any of the new members invited into the conversation. Whereas in channels, all of the history is indexed and archived. You can easily add people. You can also leave a channel and then join later on, and you'll see the full history there and all of the files and information. So we encourage, by default, communicate in channels. And there's 3 types of channels. The first 2 is available to any of the Slack plans, both free and paid. And public channels is channels that are open to anyone that's in your workspace. So it's transparent, it's easy to search and find and join a channel. We encourage to default to public channels and then later switch to private channels if the conversation becomes more sensitive. And so private channels have a padlock in front of them, which I'll show you shortly, and they are only possible to be seen if you've been invited into a private channel by someone who's already a member. The third category of channels is something called Slack Connect, which is really exciting. It allows you to share a channel with an external company. Up to 20 companies can be in one channel. And those companies need to have their own Slack workspace as well. And it means you can collaborate with agencies, any vendors, any suppliers that you're working with. And the main thing with Slack Connect, it's available on paid plans, but if you're on a free plan, you can have a trial and test it out and see if you like it. So that's really allowing you to collaborate internally as well as externally now in Slack. So some best practices before I show a demonstration. If there's any questions, just a reminder, drop it in the Q&A chat window. Channel best practices. So channels are group-based conversations. You can have an unlimited number of channels and you can have an unlimited number of people invited into a channel. So you can imagine very quickly you may end up with a lot of different channels. And so I encourage all of you to think about following a channel naming convention. So having prefixes that denote the purpose of a channel, and I'll give you some examples shortly. The second thing is whenever you set up a channel, you'll be asked to put in a description. So set a purpose, define what that channel is, because that description is going to be searchable and it will help people understand why this channel has been created and what information should be put in there. The last thing is I will show you how to pin information. So essentially it allows people to quickly navigate to key items in a channel without having to scroll. So here's some examples. I talked about following a channel naming convention and setting some prefixes for your organisation or team. So here's some example channels. In Slack, you're free to create as many different channel conversations as you want. Typical ones that we see are help channels or service channels, and these are denoted based on the naming convention help dash. So help-IT, help-Slack. There's project channels you can create. So you might go approach, dash, and then the name of the project, website launch. Announcement channels are also really helpful. So announce, dash, and then the particular audience that you're wanting to push the announcements to. So for example, announce Australia for any Australia-based announcements, announce marketing for marketing-based communications. And then lastly, everyone's favourite social channels. So you might have social being the prefix, dash parents, social dash soccer, anything that is, it's free for you to customise the channels that you want to create. But the most important thing is abiding by some naming conventions. So it helps people identify what this channel is about. Now, channels don't have to be just for groups of people. It can also be for yourself. So you can go and create channels for you and your manager to put in any agendas for your weekly one-on-one, a to-do list as well. So it might be me-to-do, me-expenses, where you drop in photographs of your receipts as well, or just a reminder for expenses too. So I encourage you to have a think about how you can use channels for your own productivity. So let's quickly navigate to the demo environment, and I'll show you how to find and join a channel, create one, as well as customize your channel navigation sidebar. So this is the place where I would go to find and join a channel. So this channel browser icon here, which I brought into my quick reference menu before by customizing this list, will allow me to actually search and find any channels, either by channel name or description. And so here I might say I work in the marketing team, so I want to find any channels that are related to marketing. Now notice as soon as I click in marketing, it's going to throw results of any channels with marketing either in the channel name or in the description, which is why it's so important to have a description included. You'll notice that it also shows me any of the private channels shown as a padlock, because these are channels I've already been invited into. So for any channels that you're not part of, say here, you hover over it, you'll notice that there's a little join icon. You can simply click and join. So this is how you can search and find channels. And I encourage you to search first before creating a new one, because it may already have been created and is in existence. So this is how you search and find a channel, and you can easily join. Now, how do you create a channel? Creating a channel is really simple. In the channel browser view, you can simply click on Create Channel up the top, and then this window will appear. When you click on the channel name, you may choose to follow it based on the channel naming convention, but for the purpose of this training, I'm going to create it as a project channel for Slack training. And say, put in a description. Whilst it's optional, put this description in. Channel to discuss. Now, you have the option to move this channel to be private. I will default it to public for now because we're not talking about anything sensitive, and you can always change it later on. If you make it private, it will just warn you that you can't move it back to public. And so the main difference of having a private channel is people can't find it unless someone invites you into it. And so it creates a bit of an admin bottleneck for any members in that channel. They'll need to be responsible for updating the member list. So since you create the channel, you can then simply invite and search for people to join the channel. And again, so let's see who's in here. And there's an unlimited number of people you can actually invite in. So create the channel and then off you go. Notice how here you've created the channel and then your description will appear when you click on the information icon, click on about, and you'll see the description here. And you can start sharing files and putting in discussions in this channel. So let me go to give you an example. This is the outdoor campaign channel. There's 100 people in this channel. We know that the channel purpose is to discuss the Summer 18 outdoor campaign, and you'll see the full history and archive here and files being shared. So this is how you can easily create a channel. Now, notice how my sidebar here shows a couple of different folders. So you can actually group your channels into what we call channel sections. So to easily create a channel section, hover over the channels label here. You'll see the 3 vertical dots. Click on that 3 vertical dots and say create a new section. Now I'm going to give a little emoji to the section called bookmark, which will appear at in front of the section name. I'll put training. I'll just say start training to make it look more specific. Create. And then this section will appear here. And I can simply go back and find that project Slack training and drag and drop it into the Slack training section. So this helps you group it if you want to have more collapsible folders in there. So that's how you can easily find and join, create a channel, and then customize your sidebar. So I'm going to go back. So very quickly, how best to write in Slack. Now, writing in Slack is very simple. You'll notice down anywhere in Slack, whether it's a direct message or a channel conversation, you'll see the message input bar. Now, you should be able to see a range of different formatting icons appearing here. If you don't, it's because the formatting icons are hidden. So in this screenshot I've got here, the capital A and lowercase a is really allowing you to click on that, and you should be able to see and expand the formatting bar. Or if you want to hide it, you can just click on this icon again, it will be hidden. In Slack, you can format your text. You can put in links that are embedded into your text, bullet points as well. You can put in code snippets if you work with code. You can put in emojis, and you can also drop in multiple file attachments as well. You will also see a little lightning button, which is what we call shortcuts. When you click on that, you can search for Giphy, and you can also then input Giphies into a conversation as well. On the right here, just a reminder, in Slack, you don't have to reply to everything as a completely new message that gets posted in the main body. So, for example, here there's a comment, and you may be interested to respond to this comment directly by replying in thread. So when you hover over a message in Slack, you should be able to see these little icons appear on the top right corner. One of them is a speech bubble, which allows you to click on that and reply in thread, and it will pop up the right-hand pane window, and you can essentially respond, and your reply will then be attached to the original poster's comment there. So I encourage you to reply in thread to keep conversations really focused. The other tip I have in Slack is that you can perform actions on messages. So again, when you hover over a message anywhere in Slack, you'll see these icons appear on the right, and then the 3 vertical dots means more actions. Click on that and you'll see this drop-down menu, and you can simply mark things as unread. You can set reminders for messages if someone's asking you to review something. You can also pin things to a channel and also delete messages too if it's your own message. If it is your own message as well, you'll see the option to edit a message, just in case you have any spelling mistakes or you want to make changes to add extra detail in. The other thing we love about Slack is you can respond to things with emojis. Gone are the days where you get an email and someone sends you something and you reply and you say, thanks, I'll take a look. In Slack, you can essentially hover over the message, click on that little first emoji icon that you see on the top right of that message, and then respond with an emoji reaction. So in this example, if I clicked on the eyes emoji reaction, Lisa will then get a notification to say that I have looked at it, or I am looking at it, and I'll respond back to her. So it saves you having to respond in text. We also have people that use emojis to do polls. So here, Stephanie is asking you for a quick poll for lunch orders, and people will respond with the corresponding emoji for what they want for lunch. So again, an example of how to actually use Slack and emojis for work. Now, quickly, how to get help. So I've run through a lot of the basics, and I want to show you how you can get help in Slack. Up the top right, next to the search bar, you will be able to see a little question mark icon. Click on that and you'll see a drop-down menu and an option to get help. In there, you can search for any of the keywords, things that you may want to get help with, and most likely there will be a Help Center article. Click on that and there'll be handy instructions and screenshots to allow you to learn how to do something in Slack. But if you want to go a step further and you can't find what you're looking for, in Slack, in your message input bar, that lightning icon, the first icon there, click on that and search for feedback. You'll see the option then to send feedback directly to Slack, and then a pop-up window will appear and you can ask a question. So if there's a bug that you find or something's not working quite right, or just a general question about how do I do something, pop that in there, and then one of our fantastic customer experience team will respond to you in a very quick manner. So again, you're never far from getting help. Please do reach out and don't be shy. So to quickly wrap up and talk about what's next, we've really just covered the basics of Slack today. The value of Slack increases as more people join, as more content gets shared. And we talked about messaging and channels today. There are other webinars that we will be running and available for you, where we talk about app integrations, we talk about how to bring in workflows, so processes into Slack to automate, as well as the artificial intelligence built into Slack. But hopefully today gives you a really clean view of some of the ways to set up your Slack environment and manage the noise. So a reminder, the top 3 takeaways is 1, update your profile, put in a profile picture so you become a bit more human, and update any of your profile fields as well so that you are more easy to find in Slack. Second thing is work in channels. So find and join channels. If there isn't a channel that you think should be there, create one, invite people, and then start collaborating directly in Slack. If you need to respond to things in Slack, remember, use threads for any responses to allow things to be a bit more focused. And then lastly, customize your Slack sidebar. So create those little folders that we call channel sections so that you can start grouping your channels together and easily navigate. So what's next? There is a wealth of information available in our Slack Help Centre. You can just go www.slack.com/help and access a bunch of different resources. You can also just Google Slack webinar as well and tune into any on-demand webinars or sign up to join a live webinar too. I will also be sharing more webinars over time as a follow-up to this session with a next evolution of a bit more in-depth information about how best to use Slack. And so thank you for your time. Any of the questions in the chat window, we'll respond to them as well. There is a common question that gets asked as well about in Slack, how many people can I invite into a Slack workspace? That is completely unlimited, so you can go ahead and invite as many as you want there. So that's it for today. We look forward to seeing you at other sessions and other webinars as well, and please feel free to reach out to us if you need any help. Thank you so much.